and welcome back to the Big Orange Table podcast. He's Gabe, I'm Dan, and it is Georgia week. Gabe, it's Georgia week. It's week 3 and it's Georgia week. What say you?
Yeah, it's a big one. You talk all you want about, wanting bigger games earlier in the season, but I don't know, this one might be a little too big. But if you're gonna play Georgia, I feel like this is a better time to do it. I'd rather get this game over with. If we win, changes the scope of our season. If we lose, then hey, you know what? No big harm done. We're kind of playing with house money a little bit, but nevertheless, I'm excited for this one. It's a big one.
Oh, come on. I mean, we've often played maybe Florida fairly early. This just feels different to me. I mean, I'm going back. Look, we know it's been 8 years since we've beat Georgia. I'm going back even further than that. I mean, I don't take it lightly to bring out the old jacket. I know it's a little dark. Sometimes the orange was a little dark in the 80s. Do you see these cuffs? Do you see these puffy sleeves? I am serious in week 3, man. This is serious. I'm fired up. I'm excited. We're going to talk all about it. So on today's show, we're going to talk impact players on both offense and defense. We're going to break down what we see as the keys to winning in our infinite knowledge and football intelligence. We also might even reveal a bold prediction. And of course, we're going to go ahead and throw out a score prediction. I know you said earlier that you're maybe still on the fence trying to figure out that prediction and even a winner. So let's dig into it, man. I mean, big picture here. This is a defining SEC opener for both of these teams. For the last couple shows, we've talked about how we're still trying to figure out exactly who our team is. We're excited about it, but we're still trying to learn. Georgia's got to be in the same boat. They've got some really good numbers coming in. So does Tennessee. A little bit of difference on offense and defense. But, man, this is a defining SEC opener for both teams. And I'd say both teams are trying to still discover a little bit about who they are under pressure. So, man, what does this look like as a whole? I mean, if you're Georgia, if you're Tennessee, how do you feel going into this opponent in week 3?
Well, we mentioned it before, just how different SEC play is. I think last year we got to see maybe a different SEC than we ever have in this new era where everybody was tearing each other apart all the time. I see no reason why this season is necessarily going to be any different. Again, these are two teams that neither of them have really been tested very much. You could say Tennessee technically got tested a little bit more with playing Syracuse, but we don't really know that for a fact. Yes, they're probably better than Marshall, but how much does that really teach you about your team? You know what I mean? I mean, this is a Tennessee team that did give up 26 points to that Syracuse team.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't look awful in week 2. Syracuse didn't, but they barely beat UConn. And again, who's to say how good UConn is
That's
or
right.
isn't? But Stephen Jelly threw for like 400 something yards on like 50 something. So it's like they've got a bit of an offense, but they struggled in that game. So all that just to say, nobody really knows what either team is really going to look like this season. And this is the game where all bets are off. There's no more consideration about what these teams might be. They're going to show their true identity in this game. Both teams are, for better or worse.
Yeah, and you have to believe that it's going to echo throughout the season. Again, whether maybe not specifically on talent or specifically on the play, but we know that a game like this will have a ripple effect, sometimes both positive and or negative. And so I fully agree. We're going to find out. And it doesn't mean that these teams can't evolve and change throughout the season. But this sets a standard for sure for both programs to know where they stand. And I got to tell you, and I think you would agree, one program is going to come out victorious Saturday, and there's going to be talk, national championship talk. I think that's the trajectory of the winning program this week. Again, week 3, is that valid? Maybe not, but that's what's going to happen, right? So maybe more so for Georgia. But as a Tennessee fan, we beat Georgia this week. I will change my trajectory of what I think this team is capable of. So again, breaking the numbers down, Tennessee's had very strong showing, little more yards per game on the offense than Georgia's showing right now. But Georgia also is right now showing a more elite and a more stingy defense.
Well, and they do this every year. Every year they, they fail to put up 30 on a group of 5 opponent, and we go,
Sure.
oh, Georgia might not be who they say they are, and then they
Right.
play, the best teams in the country and suffocate them. Now, obviously, last year that wasn't necessarily the case. They lost, I think, 3 games last year. So, this is not that same Georgia. But Georgia does this. We would be fools to look at their first 2 weeks and say, oh, well, their offense really doesn't look that good, because truthfully, the weapons they have on the outside are terrifying. I mean, they've got like three wide receivers that are like 6'5", and then a tight end that's like 6'7" and a half, who's a true freshman, and then Oscar Delp, who lit us up last year, still there. So I think that, like, they do have issues. I think even according to, people who cover Georgia, their offense has been struggling. But according to those same people, their defense is going to be really good this year. So this is going to be a real test for Tennessee's offense. I mean, you don't have to put up 50 points, but can you move the ball down the field?
Yeah.
Can you establish a running game? These are questions that we won't. I mean, we're going to have we can only kind of consider until it's kickoff time, and then we get to see it.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, if I'm a Georgia fan, how am I feeling right now with Gunnar Stockton? I think most all Tennessee fans are feeling really good where we are with Joey Aguilar today. Do they feel as comfortable with Gunnar Stockton? Obviously, Georgia has produced when they've needed to over the last many years. They've had a guy that would be capable in general of doing what's needed. Is he the guy, and are they good to go? So again, all questions that are just can't really be answered until we get into this SEC play and really see what shakes out, man. I mean, it's exciting. I don't know if I'm more apprehensive as a Tennessee fan week 3, or if I'm more apprehensive as a Georgia fan week 3, coming into what is going to be an electric environment with Neyland Stadium. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who I'd rather be. I feel pretty good as a Tennessee fan going into week 3.
Well, you'd rather be a Georgia fan, winning multiple national championships in the last 10 years. But
no doubt.
Gunnar Stockton is their guy.
Yeah.
According to everybody who's seen him in practice, he is by far the guy.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't translated that into games yet. Whether it's them just trying to find an identity, or if he has something going on, in between the ears. But if you have something going on in between the ears, playing on the road in an afternoon game at Neyland Stadium is not going to solve that problem.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So that is my main hope is it starts with Gunnar Stockton. You got to disrupt him. The Neyland effect has to be crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like for whatever reason, it feels like at times maybe the Neyland effect hasn't been as strong for Georgia. There's just been something about Georgia where they just don't seem as bothered.
Yeah.
But if they come in here with a QB who just maybe doesn't have that strong of a head on his shoulders, we need to make that place rumble on Saturday, because we need to be able to disrupt him in order to win this game, I believe.
Well, speaking of disruption, let's dive into what we feel like are some key impact players, and if you're good with this, let's start with defense. Because I agree with you. I think that disruption is going to be key, and so let's dive into what we see as our 3 impact players on defense, 2 or 3, however it works out. Do you want to start?
Sure, yeah, I'll go. So defensively, I have 3 guys. Starting with Colton Hood. This guy, transfer coming in, he's the lead guy now. He's the lead guy of the secondary. He's got to make an impact on Saturday. Ty Redmond, the true freshman, obviously extremely talented. They're going to be targeting him all day. But as far as impact players go, guys that need to show up in order for Tennessee to win this game, Colton Hood is one of them. He's got to lock down whoever he's on. Again, he's probably going to be on Zachariah Branch, who is an elite wide receiver. So this is going to be his biggest test, maybe of his career. He's got to show up, play the fundamentals, do a solid job. I'm not asking for a perfect game, but he needs to be able to limit Georgia's production on the outside. I think he can, but he's my first impact player. Then we've got Joshua Josephs. He has started to flash this year. He looks great. He looks terrifying. He kind of, I don't know if I think he added some muscle mass in the offseason because that guy looks scary. But he started to flash this year in the pass rush a little bit more than we've seen him. He prides himself on his run defense, but he needs to get home to the quarterback this weekend. I don't know if there's necessarily been an established pass rush guy. He's been looked at to be the guy this year, but we weren't sure how that was going to go. I think he's improved. He needs to show that on Saturday. He needs to get to the quarterback, disrupt that backfield. I think he can, but we need to see that in order for Tennessee to win this game.
For sure.
And then third, of course, we got to go with Arion Carter. Arion Carter, he is the guy. Like he is the quarterback of Tennessee's defense. High character dude, an absolute beast. I mean, he has the potential to be one of the all-time greats at Tennessee over the next season or two. But he's got to show up. He's got to be stout. The communication on Tennessee's defense needs to be impeccable. You can't have a miscommunication in this game. You just can't. Georgia is going to have – look, Mike Bobo's offense is not anything super special. But if you think they are not going to try their best to scheme up Tennessee, they've done it. They've done it for however many years, 4 years. They've done it. And so if you don't think that they're not going to try to throw wrinkles in there, they've killed us on that tight end seam for years now.
Yep.
That is going to be the responsibility of guys like Arion Carter. You've got to eliminate that. You've got to take that away. Taking away the middle of the field for Georgia. Look, Gunnar Stockton has not proven that he can take those huge downfield perimeter shots and succeed.
Right.
Depending on what coverage we're playing, of course, he has not proven that. So take away the middle of the field, make Gunnar Stockton see the field, and I think you'll get pressure on him and disrupt his game enough in order to eliminate their offense. Especially I didn't even speak about stopping the run from a linebacker perspective.
Right.
These are running backs that are talented, but Nate Frazier's had some fumble problems. Get in there, make a play. This is all about disruption, about throwing them off rhythm. Georgia's not a tempo offense, but you can't let them get in a rhythm. You just can't. So those are my three guys on defense.
No, I like it, and you're 100% right. I can't disagree with anything you're saying, and we'll actually piggyback on a bit of it. For me, like you said, Colton Hood is going to have a really good game. Again, man, what a strong showing. You got to love what you're seeing out of him. So it's going to be really critical to again have some disruptive plays. They're going to take some shots. And again, it's going to take more than just Colton Hood, but you're looking for him to have that game that, again, is just going to it's going to set up Tennessee for success, but also, man, he's got a really nice trajectory this year. He's looking so strong. So I'm going to kind of take my next pick a little bit of a different direction. I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I'm going to talk about performance by committee. I want to talk about our defensive line. You mentioned it over and over. Disruption is key, and I think it's going to start with the defensive line. Georgia, like Tennessee, has a very balanced offense. Over 200 yards so far, both in rushing and passing in each of their games this year. We've got to disrupt it somewhere. And I think that starts with disrupting their offensive line performance in both pass protection and in run protection and blocking. If we can do that, if we can disrupt up front, give our linebackers an opportunity to hit those gaps, whether it be on blitzes for a sack or being able to help shut that run down. It's just going to add pressure to Stockton in a horrific Neyland environment. Thank goodness for us. Then I think that's going to go a long way. I'm actually not even going to go to a number 3. That's just it for me. Again, like I totally agree with what you said, but I'm actually going to cut short and just say those are the 2 for me. There's definitely other factors, but I want to see our defensive line be aggressive, disruptive, on fire, and I think that's going to then echo on to the middle of the field and our defensive backs. So again, yeah, that's right.
Or deep guys, because we'll see if Jackson Moy comes back. We won't really know what that even looks like until the SEC injury report comes out. We're recording this on Tuesday, tomorrow night, Wednesday night. But if Jackson Moy is not back, you have serious concern about what those guys are able to do. This is a Georgia offensive line that, they may kind of don't look like the Georgia offensive line of old. They're dealing with a couple injuries as well. There's some questions about whether they have a couple of impact guys back on the offensive line this week. But either way, there's still, you still got, big old blue chip guys that you're going to be facing on the inside. Yeah. I feel like Tennessee struggled against Syracuse, just getting maybe pushed off the line a little bit more than they should have. You cannot let Georgia. If you let Georgia run the ball, you're losing. Period. Yeah. You just are. I don't care. They may not have to. If we just let them run, they may not have to attempt to pass all day. They got in arounds. They got running backs, and then Gunnar Stockton can run as well.
Yeah,
you don't necessarily want him to take huge hits, but they're going to use him in this game on his legs. You have to if you're Georgia.
They're going to have to. That's right. Yeah, he's a dual threat.
So those defensive tackles, they've got to hold up. I mean, these guys have to fight for their lives. I mean, it's deep. It's deep for them. It should be deep. It should be personal. These guys should have a personal problem with getting beat in the ground game this week. So we'll see how it goes. But
and to your point, it could get ugly quick, right? Because again, they've not had an immense amount of points production, but they have had a balanced offensive situation. And so if they can establish that run effectively, it could get ugly for Tennessee pretty quickly. So especially if your DBs don't show up and have a heck of a day. So fully agree, man. Fully agree. So if we're to shift the field a little bit here, start to talk about Tennessee's offense, let's dig into the impact players for this week for Tennessee.
Okay, so number 1, obviously it starts with Joey Aguilar. If Tennessee is winning this game, Joey Aguilar has to be the guy. He has to make an impact. Tennessee is not winning this game without Joey Aguilar.
Right.
We cannot do it. I mean, again, this Tennessee, I mean, you could say offense in general is built around the quarterback, but especially this Tennessee system is built around the quarterback. Obviously, it's run first, but that includes the quarterback making reads, being able to see the field from a pre-snap perspective. Joey has to be sharp in this game. He can miss a ball or two.
Yes.
Whatever. There's going to be mistakes. But he needs to be able to make plays. He needs to be sharp. He needs to be accurate. And he needs to be able to stretch plays as well, because Georgia is going to get in the backfield. This is an SEC game. You're not going to have clean pockets all day. He needs to be able to slow the game down, which I think he can do, and just play his game. But don't make any stupid mistakes. I would love to see him if he gets pressured. Look, if he gets pressured in this game, starts rolling out, I do not want to see him forcing balls downfield unless he's really or unless he really feels there's a good chance. Unless there's a mismatch somewhere, just throw it out of bounds. Like, we cannot just take care of the football if you're Joey. That's it. Just take care of the football, do your thing, and the rest will come. But Joey's got to have an impact in order for Tennessee to win this game.
Take care of snapping the ball to Joey, right? We saw a little snippet there last week take care of the snaps.
Yeah, can't do that against Georgia.
No.
Secondly, I've got Mike Matthews.
Yeah.
Look, I think that Mike Matthews is emerging. I think could be the game that he does emerge. You know, we've talked for years about how every time we play Florida, there seems to be a new star wide receiver that emerges for them in their game against us. I think we can have that game for us against Georgia.
Right.
I think a guy like Mike Matthews has a chance to establish himself as one of the top guys in the SEC in this game. Joey's going to give him plenty of chances because that's just how Joey works. You know, it's not going to be, he's not going to be timid like Nico. Mike Matthews has a chance to really make an impact in this game, and we're going to need him to in order to win. I'm not saying like 3 or 4 touchdowns or anything like that, but just make the play when it comes to you.
Consistency, yes.
Yeah, just be consistent. Make the play when it comes to you, and Tennessee has a really good chance. And then third, you've got to go with one of the running backs, but I went with Star Thomas specifically.
Okay.
Because I believe Star Thomas is emerging as the guy that can make the most impact on a game. Deshaun Bishop, I believe you could also put in there. But I believe that Mike Matthews has a better all-round game, and we're gonna need that in this game. We're gonna need Star Thomas to catch a couple passes out the backfield. You know, if Deshaun Bishop is on the field, we're gonna need that out of him. But of course, he had a couple drops last week. So I think you trust Star Thomas in this game to be the dynamic player that he is. You know, be able to use his hands out of the backfield. We're going to need every tool that we possibly can. So I think you utilize your most versatile guy and Star Thomas in a way that maybe the other two guys can't quite be used. You get use the other guys for fresh legs, ground and pound. Peyton Lewis can put his head down. Deshaun Bishop is shifty, but I think you got to use Star Thomas in a big way in this game. In order to maximize your advantage on offense.
Yeah, no, I like it 100%. I agree. And, you know, clearly we're probably on the same page with some of our notes here. I'll start out with Joey Aguilar. So this is, you love the story, you love the posts. I know we've all seen him. I'm sure you've seen where we fell in love with his mom and the sweet story. We've fallen in love with his grandma. I'm sure you've seen the posts. You know, we love seeing Grandma sing Rocky Top. I mean, come on, that's adorable. But this story is still progressing for Joey, right? You have this kind of whimsical story of how he even finds himself at Tennessee. You have him at a neutral site home opener, does fantastic. Then the narrative jumps to the first game at Neyland Stadium. It's emotional. It's a beautiful thing. He's got a lot of family and friends there. And now, let me back up. He performs well. Again, the story is beautiful. It's scripted wonderfully. The story now elevates to this, again, dynamic SEC opener, Neyland Stadium, number 6th ranked Georgia, right? So I'm still very hopeful, but a little bit apprehensive. Can he maintain what you and I have talked about week over week, which is the smooth control of the game, right? And so at some point, you know, will that excitement be a little much, right? Because you pointed out he's got to be smooth, he's got to be in control. The run pass option has got to work. It's got to be calculated. He's got to see the field, and he's got to make those decisions in the moment that are going to break open some big plays for Tennessee. And so for me, Joey Aguilar is probably your key impact player. I don't think the moment's too big for him. I think he's lived enough college football life that I think this moment, I think he's prepped for it, frankly. I think he's excited for it. So,
going to be the toughest defense he's ever faced in his entire college career. Right. But I think, again, like you said, he's played enough football where it's like, look, sure, he's going to have to make more of the plays that he knows that he's made before.
Yeah.
But I think, again, this guy has ice in his veins. He's extremely humble. He's grateful to be here. You know, this guy.
He's not supposed to be here.
I don't think,
right?
I don't think the moment is too big for him. I genuinely don't. I think
No,
that he's going to be fueled by the
mhm.
passion that he's going to see inside Neyland.
Yeah,
And
fully
I mean,
agree.
if he wins this, if he leads Tennessee to a win in this football game,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and name streets after him. He immediately becomes a Tennessee legend. Like that is
Yeah,
it is there is and I think if he wins this, if he leads Tennessee to a win here, no
right.
matter what the stat line looks like, he becomes a Tennessee legend. I think he gets inserted into the Heisman conversation
Yeah,
as well as a bunch of other awards. I
it
think
would be
I
pretty
mean
neat.
it's gonna be cool to watch. But that's again that's if he maintains the same character
Yeah,
that we have seen so far. Um, win, I'm going to be happy with him win or lose as long as he doesn't lose us the
that's
game.
right.
That's
Yes, exactly. That's right. And it isn't just based on or predicated on winning. It's based on showing up and controlling the game, executing a smooth performance as we've seen before. Because again, I mean, the season's not over. You lose this game. We know that. We know full well. And so we still need him to be that, regardless of if it's a painful 1 or 3 point loss or 10 point loss. Regardless, we still need that out of him. So that's a good point. We've got to see it. And either way, it's going to be an exciting, defining moment for him and a heck of a SEC opener. So that's definitely my first key impact player. Number 2, I'm going to kind of cheat again. Kind of going to go the route you went in the receiver core. But I'm going to say that it's critical for receiver X to have an impactful game this week. And what I mean by that is I'm not 100% sure. I'm just not 100% sure which guy it is. But we need somebody to elevate and stand out, whether it's Braswell, whether it's Staley, whether it's Mike Matthews. Somebody's got to have a standout game. And it might be a couple of them, right? We've got to catch the ball. We can't make mistakes. We've seen it before out of your big guy or two, and it's like, what's happened? He dropped the first 2 or whatever. We've got to have a standout performance from somebody. I think there's a good chance it could be Mike Matthews. If Brazel continues to be consistent and a good go-to guy, we know that Braylon Staley can have the same impact, that we were hoping out of Matthews. So for me, it's receiver X, but we can't have receiver nothing, right? We can't have just a mediocre day. We've got to have some plays that we are on repeat, man, whether it's like the Mike Matthews play last week and it harkens back to the big game-ending catch against Georgia a few years ago. It's that same vibe. We've got to be hitting replay and showing everybody over and over and over and over again some of the plays that come out of the game this week for us to have, I believe, a strong chance of winning. Not a chance, but a strong chance of winning. So that's number 2 for me. And I'm going to cheat again for my third offensive impact player of the week. By committee, it's got to be the offensive line. I know there's a couple really exciting 2 or 3 guys. We are just like, man, you got to, we're putting a lot of weight and pressure on and a lot of expectation. But these guys, as a group, as a committee, have got to show up this week. And so if they show up, if we can establish the run, again, it just cracks open that door in the passing game. But it starts with this O-line. If just like we talked disruption with our defense, if the same is allowed to happen with Georgia's defense, then we're going to have a long day, right? So we've got to control the line of scrimmage, we've got to establish the run, and we've got to let that parlay over into the passing game. So for me, again, not trying to be lazy with my picks, it's just the way I see it. Again, receiver X, the offensive line as a whole, and of course Joey Aguilar helming the ship. So that's how.
well,
I see
if the first couple weeks are any indication, I think that this line is going to be able to. I think this line is going to be able to operate in a way that's going to get us some rushing yards.
I think so too.
They're not going to be able to push guys back like they were pushing Syracuse and ETSU, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't need that. Just open the hole. We need our running backs to trust it. Just trust it. Just trust the play, hit the hole, and I think if we can just get just enough on this Georgia defensive line, we could have a big game on the ground. We have to do it. We have to do it. I mean, I don't care how, you have to get that running game started and keep it going throughout the whole game. There cannot be a lull, no matter if you're behind, ahead. You have to keep pounding the rock on the ground against Georgia if you want to beat them. And that is primarily how they've stopped us.
Yeah,
They
that's
haven't.
right.
The way they've stopped us is they haven't even had to put extra people in the box
Yep.
to stop the run. So
Yep.
they have guys they have enough guys in coverage that we can't throw it on them, but they've stopped our running game. We cannot allow that to happen.
Yes. Well, I mean,
So,
they had three sacks against Austin P. That's not nothing, but again, we may give up a sack or two. But to your point, we can't let them control the game. And if so, again, it's gonna be a long day. But
well, and does David Sanders start? If he
right.
starts, his first ever start in college football is going to be against the Georgia Bulldogs. I
Mm-hmm.
think I've heard a lot of people say you don't start him. I think he does start because
Mm-hmm.
clearly he's your guy at right tackle. If
Yeah.
he's capable of go, I think that the only reason they've held him out the past couple weeks is because they want him to go against Georgia. It's
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's Joey's front side, so hey,
Sure.
maybe there's a little bit less risk in playing in there. Joey
Right.
can maybe make a play if David Sanders happens to have to knock a little rust off the first couple plays, but that's a scary idea. I mean, I guess you always have the option that if he goes out there
Sure.
and has some struggles to be able to reshift the offensive line. But again, you're also talking about shifting these guys on the offensive line to positions that they haven't even played this year
Yeah.
because they've had to shift in the absence of David Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
So does that affect their congruency as a group?
Yeah.
In the first series or two, we've got to start fast here. And that has everything to do with the offensive line. I mean, the offensive line is going to determine whether we do that because Joey's going to need. We don't need to. Joey doesn't need a clean pocket for 5 seconds.
Sure.
He doesn't. But at the same time, you can't bust assignments. You can't do
Yeah.
it. You've
No.
got to be
Agreed.
able to make running lanes for these running backs. I mean, there's a little bit of concern there for me, as to how well this offensive line works the first drive or
Mm-hmm.
two.
Yeah.
Because again, even if David Sanders is great, even if he goes in there and looks great, there's no guarantee that the other guys who have been playing
Yeah.
these other positions for the first 2 weeks are going to have their original positions down right away.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they do, and hey, I'd love that to be the fact, but
Yeah.
there's just so many questions going into it.
Well, there are, and I don't want to, again, I don't want to be remiss on the fact that Georgia's defense is untested. Marshall and Austin P. I mean, that's great. Again, but they're untested, and so again, it's super exciting. I believe again, if you're Tennessee, to me, it's an edge, in my opinion. Maybe risky to say, but it's an edge. I want to be Tennessee in the environment of Neyland, as opposed to being Georgia, not still waiting to see exactly what my defense can do against an SEC opponent. So that's just my
I
opinion.
do not. I believe that it's the opposite. I
Yeah.
think that Georgia's defense, from everything I've heard about, Rusty Mansell, who's an excellent journalist for the Georgia Bulldogs. He believes that, and I believe what he says because he's extremely fair in his assessments. He straight up told, I believe it was Eric Kane, that they're sandbagging.
Yeah.
I mean, the Georgia defense has been sandbagging. They have not shown a look besides vanilla all
Right.
year. They're
Well,
going to come out. There's a good chance they come out in completely different packages than Josh Heupel has even been able to see
Sure.
all year. Or
fair
even maybe
enough.
last.
Fair enough, and that may be the
They-
case. All I know is I've had many years where I felt like we could say the same for UT, and then we go out there and get embarrassed, whether it's an offensive scheme. So I know I'm with you. I guess the point is it's exciting that we're going to find out. I mean, regardless.
Well, and I hope that Josh Heupel has had something in the look. This needs to be personal for Josh
Yeah,
Heupel.
I
If
think
Josh
so.
Heupel cannot scheme a way to, or Joey Housley, whatever, if they cannot scheme a way to beat this Georgia defense, I don't think they'll ever be able to do it.
Right.
This needs to be the time where, hey, they're saying Kirby Smart has your number.
Right.
They're saying Kirby Smart has you figured out. Why
Yeah.
can you put up a bunch of points on anybody else, but you can't do it against Georgia? We haven't scored more than 17 against them since Josh Heupel's been here.
Right.
The only opponent, I believe, at least consistently, to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year was different because our offense was awful last year, aside from Dylan Sampson. But
Yeah.
if this needs to be Josh Heupel, I don't care if he wrote an entire playbook for this one game. I don't care if we come out in the scheme that we haven't seen all
Sure.
year. We
Right.
have to do something.
Yeah.
We have to do something because Georgia, that they've played defensively close to their chest. Their
Right.
offense might be actually struggling, but their defense has not
Mm-hmm.
been struggling.
Right.
They've been playing vanilla and just been working out their kinks. So if Josh Heupel has to play his trump card here. There can be
Yeah.
no conservative play. I don't care if we score 30 points in the first quarter. We cannot play conservatively here. I mean, we
No,
have to do
I think you're
everything
right.
we can. I mean, there's got to be some wrinkles here because
Yeah.
I've watched it for 4 years now. Tennessee just and I mean, look, hey, 2 years ago Tennessee comes out against Georgia and Neyland and just runs off tackle up the middle, and Jalen Wright goes 75 yards for a touchdown.
Sure.
Okay, but that's called execution. So
Yep.
the players got to be able to execute as well. But look,
Yeah.
Josh Heupel has to be able to do something against this Georgia defense, especially if they haven't shown all their looks on third and long. Georgia's going to have their third down package. They're going to try and get after the quarterback. Josh Heupel's got to have an answer for that. Maybe
That's
it's
right.
that running back screen, but
Mhm.
man, I don't know. Screens, that's not going to work against Georgia. That little flip out screen is not going to work against the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm telling you right now. So
Well-
just we've got to have something. We've got to have an edge. I mean,
Well, we have the tools, right? And again, I know we keep talking about tested. We have the tools, right? With our running backs, with our wide receiver core, with Joey Aguilar at the helm. We have the tools. Can we put it all together? And like you said, can we go out there unabated with a scheme, no holds barred? That, like you said, I mean, if you're Heupel, this is, if not the biggest game of the year, what's your other biggest game of the year? I mean, unless you're playing for a playoff spot or in the playoffs or for a championship, regular season, this has to be, like you said, unbridled, biggest game of the year, your opportunity to make it happen. Neyland Stadium, you've got all the pieces. Can you put them together? Which kind of leads us to the keys to winning, right? Let's talk keys to winning. We've talked about a lot of them, and I think you could make a list of probably the 20 things we've described. But let's talk keys to winning. Top 2 or 3 keys to winning for you, Gabe.
Okay, so I have 3 of them. First of all, no turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, note how I didn't say force turnovers. Offensively, I don't believe that Tennessee needs to force turnovers to win this game.
Right.
Tennessee needs to not give the ball to Georgia.
Yeah.
Do not turn the ball over to Georgia. Do not do it. That is how they beat you. It's no secret to anybody that turnover margin is probably one of, if not the most important stat in determining if a team wins a ball game. We've played Syracuse and ETSU. In both games, there's been an instance where we have handed them the football.
Yes.
You cannot do that against the Georgia Bulldogs. I do not want to look. There will likely be a turnover in this game.
Right.
But you have to do everything in your power. Just don't do anything stupid.
That's
if
right.
there's something fluky that happens, okay, whatever. That's ball, okay? Do not abandon your fundamentals and hand Georgia the football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do not do that. That is, to me, the way I look at it is right now we're sitting at about a 51% chance to win. Every turnover we commit lowers our chances to win by about 20%.
Yeah.
One
I think that's
turnover
fair.
goes down to about 30. 2 turnovers, about 10%. That means that there's a crazy game, and the only way we're winning is if we've somehow forced like 2 or 3 or had some sort of special teams touchdown or something like that. Another one, 3 turnovers, in my opinion, if you turn the ball over 3 times, that means you've lost. We're not winning the game. If we turn the ball over 3 times, that means that we have lost the game. There's no chance we turn the ball over 3 times and win this football game.
Right.
So that's number one. And hey, you can if you want to force some turnovers, do it. Again, like I said, Nate Frazier has fumbling issues. Gunnar Stockton, you got to put him under pressure. Make him make a mistake. something like that. Georgia's not going to, I promise you, Georgia's not going to hand the ball to you like we handed the ball to East Tennessee State University last week.
Absolutely. Sure.
Cannot give Georgia the football.
Mm-hmm.
Next is get to the quarterback. I'm not talking about pressure the quarterback. I mean get to him. We've got to get to him. We don't have to have 7 sacks in this game to win. But you've got to get to him a few times. You cannot let him stand in there and do whatever he wants. Because not only if you let him stand in there, will he find a strike, especially if we're playing zone. We know they're going to get yards that way. But if you miss a tackle, if you get to him and miss the sack, or if you don't provide adequate pressure,
right,
he's going to take off running and he's going to get a first down. He's going to get 5, 6, 7, 10 yards. And those are things we've seen before where we just can't seem to stop it. Right. If we let him do it once, he's going to be doing it all day. You got to get to the quarterback. You got to swarm him. You got to make him feel overwhelmed. You cannot give him the confidence that he can escape you, because he will do it over and over and over again. We have to get to the quarterback. I would like to see us be able to get to the quarterback without putting extra guys in the box.
Right.
Because if we're putting extra guys in the box, that probably means we're playing zone. And if we can't get pressure then, that's the recipe for disaster that we've
100%.
seen for years.
That's
that
right.
We lose games because our zone integrity just, for whatever reason, just is generally not very good.
Yep.
So you've got to get to the quarterback. You have to. We talked before. This is his first road. This is Gunnar Stockton's first start on the road.
Right.
This is in Neyland Stadium.
Yep.
The Neyland effect is going to be there. You've got to take advantage of it. He's going to be and take advantage of it early. You got to rattle him early. You got to rattle his mental early on in this game. You cannot let him establish confidence. As soon as he establishes confidence, I promise you, he's not looking back. So that's number 2. Number 3 is move the football offensively.
Yeah.
We have to move the foot. Look, we don't have to score every drive. You don't have to drive down the field and kick a field goal or score every drive. You're not going to do that against Georgia. Move the ball, because it's been too often over the years that we've seen. Here's the recipe. We try and we start on offense, okay? We can't move the football. We go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, okay, maybe a first down, then 3 and out. Especially if we're trying to go tempo.
Yeah,
our defense is gonna get decimated.
That's right.
You have to move the football. It doesn't have to be special. If we have to dink and dunk down the field all day, Georgia's gonna probably try and take away that deep shot. Obviously, that's what everybody does. But they also have the talent where, like I said, in the past, they haven't even had to play that way. They just beat us straight up, man to man. You have to be able to move the football. No matter I don't care how you do it. You have to be able to drive the ball down the field. Just for the sake of resting our defense and finding out what works against this Georgia defense.
Yeah.
If you can't move the football down the field, you will not beat the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, you're right. And the tempo offense that Tennessee is going to show up with, there's no question. If there's anything we know, we're going to play tempo offense. What is Georgia going to do, with that? They've not played a tempo offense this year. But to your point, the tempo offense can either be one of your greatest weapons if you're moving the ball and scoring points, or it can be your Achilles heel. Like you said, we've seen it over and over. It is a two-edged sword. If you're moving the ball, 3 and out in a tempo offense, oftentimes is a minute, right? A minute and a half. That is not a lot of time to rest. And if your defense doesn't show up, if Georgia's offense can be effective in turn, then all we're doing, if they're having a successful offensive day, all we're doing is giving them more and more opportunities to run up the score and to score. So to your point, it has to be the case that we have to use that as a weapon and as a tool, and not as something that would be an Achilles heel for us. So fully agree with you there.
Which is something that Joey Halsley talked about a couple weeks ago, is, hey, we want to use our tempo as a weapon. And we've seen that. They start off drives a little slower, and then once they get moving, they start to move into the tempo, which is what I'd like to see. You don't want to play Georgia's game. You don't want to play hold the ball for 45 minutes.
Sure.
But you also don't want to only hold the ball for 15 minutes.
No.
Like, You have to like get your drive going, get your drive established. I don't want to if we complete first play, quick out or something, if we gain 5 yards, I don't want to see us run tempo.
Right.
You don't have to huddle up, go up to the line, see what Georgia's lined up in, get a good play call in, start getting the drive moving. Because I feel like at times the play calling has suffered for like, okay, tempo, we're going doing this and then this and then this, and hasn't even given us a chance to really sit there and look at what Georgia's doing and make proper changes to the play. We've got to be able to move the ball against Georgia.
I agree with you, but I will tell you, you're probably going to see the 5-yard out pass followed by tempo. You're probably going to see it, but I agree with you. And sometimes I think you script those plays. Hey, here's this offensive set. We're basically going to run these first 2 or 3 plays regardless. Right. When, like you said, sometimes maybe slowing down for a second, you might see something and say, wait, we need to do this. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
I do not want to come out of this game saying that play calling was an issue.
No.
I do not. Because at times offensively, it's felt like an issue. And again, maybe it has to do with, like last year, the limitations of Nico. Sure. Joey Housley's first year calling plays.
Yes.
Maybe it has something to do with that. But if we see that again this year in SEC play, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow, because we can't look like that again against good opponents. We have to have some sort of edge. And like I said, everybody's saying, Josh, that Kirby has your number. Right. Got to come up with an edge here. And
that's right.
The last thing I'll say on this move the ball point is, I think you got to feed the hot hand at running back.
Right.
I get the whole okay, this guy goes in for a drive and this guy goes in for a drive and that guy goes in for a drive. If Peyton Lewis goes in and doesn't look like he is seeing the field well, I don't want to see him for the rest of the game.
Right. Move on.
If Star Thomas comes in and is putting the moves on the guys, is
feeding the ball,
bringing us production, you have to feed him. Feed the hot hand. Don't put a guy out there just for the sake of rotation. If you have to later in the game, great. Keep the guy fresh. Keep that guy fresh. Okay, whatever. But do not just rotate guys to rotate guys. Yeah. Feed the hot hand. We need every advantage that we can get to beat the Georgia Bulldogs.
Fully agree.
We do. Look, I get it. In a perfect world, all 3 of these running backs are going to be able to execute. That's not there. There is going to be one of them that is just going to be more ready.
It's the way it goes down.
Maybe 1 or 2 of them. I would love if Deshaun and Star really came out ready to play. And I know they'll be ready to play. Hey, if a guy fumbles the ball, doesn't have to be the end of his day.
That's right.
But just go with your other guy. Just see how the other guy. You've got 3 to 5 running backs that you can use in this game. There is no reason why you should be playing guys just to play guys. We haven't. Why not do that at wide receiver then? Why do we play the same 3 guys at wide receiver every week? Right. So all I'm saying is, feed the hot hand. I think. Yeah. I think that's the key to that.
And you see it, right? You see defining games, defining moments, and it is not always the same through the season. But you look back across programs, you see this happen, right? Somebody steps up and it's just their day. You can't quantify it. Sometimes it's somebody's day. And to your point, man, let them run. Let the horse out of the gates. Let them run. You've got enough support around them. You can keep them fresh. But I agree with you, man. You got to let them run. So
absolutely.
Keys to success for me, I swear we're not sharing notes, but I'll start out the same way, really, is play clean. And it echoes throughout every aspect of the game, right? Like we mentioned earlier, clean exchanges, clean snaps to the quarterback, a well-controlled, smooth control of the offense where you are shutting down and limiting unforced errors and turnovers. Again, that could be terminal for this game, if you're making those kinds of mistakes. But it goes into the defensive side as well. We talked about controlling the line of scrimmage with pressure from our defensive line. We want to get pressure. We want to get to the quarterback, but we cannot have stupid mistakes. Pull up. If the quarterback's let go of the ball, please pull up. Don't have any, late roughing the passer penalties, things like that, in what is going to be an electric environment and everybody's going to be so amped up. You got to play clean. it crosses over to special teams. We talked last episode. I talked about special teams and how good I felt like they've looked. Solid, clean. So you got to play clean, right? Whether you're receiving punts or punt coverage, whatever it may be, we've got to play clean as well on special teams. And so again, that echoes throughout the game. It really speaks to obviously the level of opponent we're playing. We know against an ETSU or even a Syracuse, you can make a mistake, and we will probably make a mistake this Saturday, but you have to limit those mistakes, and you have to capitalize on Georgia's mistakes. Because again, I think we may see a couple. Like you said, there's been some propensity for fumbles. We don't know what Gunnar Stockton's going to do under pressure of an SEC opponent and or an environment like Neyland. So we also have to key in on maximizing on mistakes. And if we do that, it's going to go a long way. The next... Mm-hmm.
Established the guy that the 15-yard tax guy that we generally have on defense that guarantees us a 15-yard. It guarantees the other team 15 yards at least once a game, like Omar Norman Lott the past couple of years. So hopefully, I'm sure we'll find out in this game because there will be something like that. Tennessee's. I want to see him play with a nasty streak, but we hopefully, like you said, hopefully we just don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, avoid the stupid tax. Avoid the stupid tax at all costs. Again, man, there's times, I don't know about you, I'm even okay. I'm even okay with a penalty at the right moment of the game. You know what I'm saying? When you're that they're just fired up and that was not the smartest thing.
Put a big hit on Gunnar Stockton when they're at like the their own 15-yard line or something.
Not when they're on our 15-yard line. Exactly, right. Exactly. So, again, I'm not saying we want that, but there's a difference. There's a difference, and we've seen it, so play smart when you have to, right? For sure. The next one for me, big key of the game. We've talked it. I don't want to talk it to death, but it's control the line of scrimmage and establish the running game. I think it's going to be probably one of our biggest keys to success in that we have to establish it so we can open up our passing game. We need to be able to dictate what we want to do with the ball. We've seen almost a statistically impossible balance, at least in the first game of offense and running and passing. And we need to be able to continue that through this game. We need to be able to pass at will because we're running at will within reason. So I think establishing the running game is going to be huge. It goes without saying. A lot of times in these big SEC games over the last quarter century, he who rushed for the most yards won the game. And again, I know that doesn't always pan out, but most of the time it does. And so again, we need to be able to control the line of scrimmage and be able to run on Georgia this week. The third for me is limit the big play. You referenced it earlier. Last year, I don't remember what was the tight end's name who kind of just, you're like, he's getting the ball this time again. Hey, he's going to get the ball. It was like, please, somebody stop this guy. And so again, big play for me in this regard, let's say 15 yards plus, right? A tight end catching the ball 7 or 8 yards down the field and running 7, 8, 10 yards down the field. Those will just drain the defense, especially if it's third and long. And again, it's like you're going back to that. So limiting the big play, much less the truly big play down the field, the, plus 25, plus 30-yard play, those can be game wreckers. And so, again, I think if we can contain that offense, keep the pressure on, I think there's a strong chance that we might overperform, I think, even what a lot of people think we can do on the defensive side this week.
Well, again, just take away the middle of the field. Force Georgia to the perimeter. And that's like if you hit it, if they want to hit a 70-yard touchdown to Zachariah Branch down the sideline, great, do it.
Yep.
Make them do it though. Yep. You got to make them do it.
But not a 30-yard crossing route in a big open zone in the middle.
Right, or or you cannot let them hit that seam route up the middle.
Yep.
You cannot let their running backs get to the second level. Take away the middle of that is how you beat this Georgia offense. That is how you
Agreed.
hold them to the least amount of points, is force them to the perimeter. Tennessee's defense is fast.
Yep.
If we force them to run to the perimeter, they're not doing much.
Yeah,
We
I
have
agree.
to be able to stuff them at the line of scrimmage,
Mm-hmm.
be stout in the middle. The linebackers have to maintain zone integrity. They've struggled with that a little bit this year, just staying too shallow. They don't want to let the quarterback run. They don't want to let guys just do your just like come on. And then we've just got to. I wish we would just go, man. We have the talent, in my opinion. I mean, I know we're a little bit. We're not as. If we had Dermod and Ricky in this game, I say just man up all day.
Yeah.
I get that we're gonna have to play some zone in this game, but at the very least, just take away the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Do not that is how they beat you. Just take that middle of the field away.
For sure. Yeah, and again, we've seen enough of it the last couple games where you kind of go, "Oh, why does that seem so soft?" Again, it's not
Even
Georgia.
Even ETSU was hitting
Right.
seam routes up the middle. I mean,
I
come
know.
on, we cannot let that. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand. We cannot. If we let Georgia do what they want in the middle of the field, they're beating us in this game. Period.
Well, if
Period.
Georgia can kind of play possum and not show all their cards on defense the first couple weeks, as you said, some are saying, maybe Tennessee can do the same. Fingers crossed that we're taking it easy a little bit. We will see soon enough. Speaking of soon enough, I think it's time to talk some predictions, some bold predictions, and I think it's we need a score prediction, which is fun. I'm a little scared to see what you say, Gabe. I'm just going to be honest. But do you have any? Should we give an opportunity for any additional bold prediction, or do we want to just go ahead and jump into game prediction, including a score prediction?
I like a bold prediction.
Okay, let's do it.
I
What do you
already
got?
have one. So my bold prediction is that Tennessee scores a touchdown in every phase of the game this week. I'm talking about namely a Boo Carter punt return for a touchdown.
I will take it.
And then a defensive touchdown, whether that's a scoop and score or a pick six. Again, you force the ball out to the perimeter. I promise you, Tennessee's intercepting a ball. I promise you, if you force the ball to the perimeter, that's just the way it's gonna go. Or it could even be like a tipped ball. Maybe Arion Carter intercepts it and takes it to the end zone, something like that. And then of course offensively, I think if we don't get in the end zone offensively, something's really wrong.
Yeah, we got bigger issues.
If we don't get to the end zone offensively, there's going to be Heupel's seat legitimately gets hot. Now, that's not even I'm not saying that I want that to happen or that should happen, but that's how it's going to go because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you're probably right. That we've seen crazier. That's pretty bold prediction.
That's my bold prediction.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got one for you too. I'm just going to throw this out there, and it's probably Tennessee shows out on defense, and holds Georgia to less than 20 points in Week 3 in Knoxville, Tennessee, Neyland Stadium. Tennessee holds Georgia to less than 20 points. And now, how's that happen? Part of what you said, we're gonna have to have some things go our way. Maybe it's a couple mistakes, couple fumbles, interception or two, whatever it may be. But it's definitely going to include pressuring the quarterback, controlling the line of scrimmage, the things we've talked about. But unless I think Georgia has more pressure on them this week just to get some rhythm and start to click in their offense than Tennessee does. That's what I see. So I think that Gunnar Stockton folds a little bit in Neyland Stadium. We're going to show up with some fire in our belly, and I think Tennessee's going to hold Georgia to less than 20 points this week. So that's my bold prediction for this game.
That's pretty good. I mean, what you said there, I do believe that the pressure is more on Georgia in this game. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I mean, Tennessee's kind of playing with house money. When Joey Aguilar came in, specifically even for him, obviously he's going to want to win this game, but
sure,
nobody was expecting him to lead Tennessee to a win against Georgia.
Yeah.
And throughout the first 2 weeks, Tennessee's offense looks better than it ever has.
Yeah.
So, again, it changes in SEC play, but I do agree that the pressure is on Georgia here. Like they've got a tougher schedule than we do. Um, if we win this, like I said last week, like if we win this game, our season starts to look like 12-0 based on how Alabama and Florida look.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know,
If you do what you're if you win this game and you do what you're supposed to do, which again, Arkansas last year, if you do what you're supposed to do, the sky's the limit, right? We know you can have a surprise or a rough day. It can happen, especially in the SEC. But you're right.
Will we ever see a 12-0 season in the SEC again? I don't know, because it's just so different now. But our schedule is favorable to say, like, hey, if you beat Georgia, you could see this team going 12-0. Will it happen?
Right.
Probably not.
Right.
But
Agreed.
I mean, so I agree that the pressure needs to be, the pressure's on Georgia. Yeah. Obviously, Tennessee is going to pressure themselves in the way that they want to win. But I agree that, you can go out and just go out and ball. And if you beat Georgia, great. And if you lose, then unless there's something that is just, like I said, like unforgivable, like just not scoring any points on offense, unless it's something like that or getting shut out at home, then nobody's really gonna, well, there will be people freaking out about it, obviously, because nobody likes to lose. But I agree. Big picture, you haven't really lost much. You weren't expected to win this game. So.
That's right. 100%. I'm with you. Well, Gabe, it's that time. We are going to have to give a score prediction for Week 3 against Georgia. You feel like going first, or you want me to go? Because I'm ready.
How about you go first? I've been going first all day with the.
All right.
With the stuff. How about you go first?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll go, and I'm excited about it. Like I said earlier, I don't just pull out these sleeves for just any week. You're not going to see these sleeves for ETSU or Syracuse, maybe not even Florida. I don't know. These sleeves, it takes a lot for me to pull these bad boys out. Look, Vol Nation, this is your moment. Joey Aguilar's grandma, right? This is her moment, okay? Neyland's going to be rocking, right? And if we play fast and fearless, if we do what we're supposed to do, I think we can shock the college football world this week. That's you see where I'm going, okay? I'm predicting Tennessee wins this game, and I predict that Tennessee wins it with a decent margin, all right? Like I said, we're going to hold Georgia less than 20 points, and our offense is going to click. There's going to be a key moment or two of momentum. I have no doubt in a game like this. But my prediction, here we go, 31-17, Tennessee Volunteers beats the Georgia Bulldogs, Week 3 in Knox Vegas, Neyland Stadium. It's going to be rocking, 31-14. Did I say 17? Okay, well then that's what I'm going to go with, 31-17. The extra field goal, because I think I was waffling, right? Because in my mind I was originally thinking 14, but I thought, there's going to be a drive that comes up a bit short. 31-17, Tennessee over Georgia.
All right. Well, this game is about as close to a toss-up as you can possibly have in the game of football. We were talking earlier. This is not a game that you can't look at the paper and say that either team is going to win. If you want to look at blue chip ratio percentage, maybe that's the only thing you could really give Georgia a massive advantage in on paper. But aside from that, the way they've been playing, this is one of those games you have no idea what's going to happen until it's early in the season. Neither of these teams have been tested in a big moment like this. You have no idea what's going to happen until they get on the field and start playing. But I would be remiss if I did not give Tennessee a chance here, because I know what the history books say, and I know how it's been for the last 8 years. Before that, it wasn't like this, right? Josh Heupel's got to figure out Kirby eventually. You know what I mean? Kirby has figured out a way to just get his team ready to play. You know, he's always had this late in the season, you know, they don't believe in you, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
He can't say that. He can't say that now. He doesn't have that chalkboard statement to get his team motivated. He's got a new quarterback that's struggling going into Neyland Stadium. Unless, look, in my opinion, if Tennessee plays their game, they win this game. If Tennessee just plays their game and does not shoot if Tennessee loses this game, they didn't lose to Georgia.
Yep,
they lost
agreed.
to Tennessee, in my opinion.
Yep.
But again, they're playing with house money, I believe. It's September. It's September 9th. You win this game and then go take care of business the rest of the season, you're almost absolutely still in the playoff.
Right.
You know, assuming you don't drop a stupid one. But anyway, I've got to be. I was on the fence the entire day. Before we started this, even while we were starting this, I'm talking and I'm second guessing myself. You know, I'm overthinking it. But I have to believe that this is the weekend Tennessee gets it done.
Yes.
And I'll tell you how.
Bring it.
Yesterday, something very interesting happened. Cameron Sexton, I don't know what the context was, gifted Pope Leo a Tennessee jersey.
Yes.
Do you know what number was on that jersey?
I think it was 14, wasn't it?
Number 14. Who wears number 14 on Tennessee's offense?
You say it, Gabe.
Mr. Braylon Staley.
Yep.
Look, late in this game, okay, it is 24-27 Georgia late in this game. Joey Aguilar hits Braylon Staley on a deep post route for the go-ahead touchdown, and Tennessee gets the stop on defense. Tennessee wins this game late by a score of 31-27.
Boy, I like it. I like my score a little better, but I will take either one of those predictions, sir. I like it. I like it. Yeah, so you kind of went the divinity kind of route. Like there's some things in the stars happening here. You got the Pope getting a jersey. You went, yeah, man, that's pretty deep.
I can just see it happening and looking back, you know, I can just envision looking on Twitter and saying, hey, we should have known all along.
That's right. It was right in front of us. We saw it. The stars aligned. It was right there the whole time, and we even doubted for a second. We shouldn't have.
Yep. So we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be an entertaining in the hair pulling out way.
Yeah.
But you know, it's gonna be an entertaining game. Again, I'm not gonna lose faith in this team if we do lose, unless it's just pitiful.
Yeah.
But you've got people believe. I mean, Tennessee has people believing. Like there have not been a shortage of people that have picked Tennessee. When this line opened, it was 7 points, and the money came pouring in on Tennessee to the point where it within a day went down to 3.5.
Yep.
And that's where it stabilized. I mean, FPI literally. It favors Tennessee by 1%, but it's still saying like, hey, this is a toss up. Like. This is I think this is the time when you do it. This is the moment for Tennessee to be able to finally pull this off.
This is the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
so
we talked. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think that this is where it's headed. I think that the conditions. It's how you felt before the Bama game in 2022.
Right.
It's
absolutely.
just you felt that not only that the team could do it, but that the conditions are right.
They are right, you know, and like we talked before, you know, kind of pre-gaming Syracuse and Tennessee, you know, it's like, look, Syracuse is playing the Power T. They're playing the program, the brand, right? And I feel the same way. It's like we're playing the last 8 years. That's what we're up against. And we have the weapons. The time is right, right? The nip is just starting to get in the air in Knoxville. We're not there yet. It's not the third week in October, but things are happening. Game day's going to be in town. Neyland's rocking. Checker Neyland. All of the pieces are where they need to be. This is the week. Let's do it.
I don't think that Georgia has faced this type of environment in Knoxville in the
Well,
past few years. Everybody, I mean, I know
yeah,
Georgia's the only team to beat us in Knoxville over the past few years,
right.
but I don't think they have faced what they're going to be seeing in Knoxville on Saturday. I don't know why, but like I said earlier, I don't think that the energy has been there for
Right.
against Georgia for some reason. This like the same energy that people have against Alabama or
Hmm.
Florida. I don't think that's been there against Georgia. I think it's there this weekend.
Well, I think it will be too. It's going to be electric. The weather's going to be nice. Ironically, I will be in Colorado. You will be in Fort Worth, Texas, of course, and won't even be in Knoxville for this, but we will be watching. Eyes peeled, fired up, excited, and ready to go. Gabe, this has been really fun. Best pregame, most fun pregame yet. Really look forward to seeing what Tennessee does this week. We've got a real chance. Either way, it's going to be electric and exciting. So with that, we will send us off. Hey, we would love hit us up with your prediction, comments below. We really would love to hear what you say. What say you, Vol Nation? But man, thanks so much for being here. This is fun. Love it every time, and really look forward to this week.
Absolutely, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun one.
All right. Well, go Vol Nation. Go Vols. Here we go.